Hi. So we've been talking about watersheds and also, in addition to that, just threats to the Great Lakes in general. So today, I've built a watershed and we're going to talk about pollutants in watersheds and how they get into our water. It's important to remember that a watershed is all the land and river systems from which water draws toward a common point. So again, water flows downhill. So let's pretend this is a piece of land, and we've talked about how we use land. So I'm going to pretend that this is a nice lake, okay? And maybe here we've got some slips for some boats and maybe a marina right there. And then perhaps over here we have some shops, some stores that people can do their shopping. And with stores, there are always parking lots, so we need to think about that. Perhaps over here are some homes, maybe on the edge of the lake. And we know that sometimes homes have issues with they want to have a big green lawn, and it's kind of a status symbol. We talked about that. And if they don't have a green buffer, then a lot of their pollutants can run right into the water systems. So let's say over here we have a farm field and all of our cherry trees are beautiful right now. So there's a farm. And then of course to connect everything we have roads. So you have to get to different places. Let's say over here we have a school. And maybe over here we have a big park with some soccer fields and maybe even a dog park. So this would be for recreation. So let's say this is a park, and this is farm, and this is houses, and here is a lake. It can be Cedar Lake, and then this would be a marina. So what I'm going to do right now is make it rain. And when it rains, you can see, maybe this is a crappy bottle. You can see what happens when it rains, and where the water will go eventually, because it runs downhill. The other thing about houses on lakes these days is septic systems, and that's where all of the household waste goes. And if there's household waste that doesn't have a good septic field, then a lot of that sewage and waste from your home can get in the watershed as well. So there we have it. We've got it's nice and rainy here. So I have some pollutants. So here are some fertilizer and chemicals. We didn't make an industry or a factory anywhere, but fertilizer, we would have the farmers fertilizing their orchards, and then we would have the people fertilizing their lawns. And over here, the soccer fields, we would have those also fertilized. Let's see what this is. This is plastic and litter. Oh, I forgot. I should definitely add some. No, not fertilizer. So this is plastic and litter, and you're going to see that around marinas, right? Schools might have some plastic and litter around them. Houses, things get picked up. Along the roads, we might have litter. And we talked about microplastics and plastics getting into the Great Lakes and fish eating up those microplastics. Here we have salt and sand. Salt for the roadways and sand. We talked about Tom sanding the driveway and Gail and how that runs off. And so we'd have it in roads. We might have it in parking lots to sand and salt. So there's that. And then we have oil. If you don't take proper care of your car and have it regularly, the oil changed regularly, you can get oil leaks. There will definitely be some oil in the marina. That was school. Maybe some farm instruments might have some oil. Roads, when you're driving along your unmaintained car. So you can think about a lot of different places that might have oil. So now what you'll see when it rains, you'll just see, I wish I really had a better spray bottle. You'll just see how all of these pollutants are just going to end up in the lake. So that is the key. We also have the different types of precipitation will bring up some pollution that has come out of factories in the form of acid rain and things like that. So it's just a very visual way for you to understand all these different pollutants, and these would be non-point source pollutants. So you can't really go to one place and say this is exactly where all this horrible pollution is. But you can see that this nice lake community is fairly polluted, and they may not even know it. So this is my little demonstration of a watershed. If you wanted to make a watershed, this is a box. You could use a cardboard box, and then I put newspaper under here, and then I just laid foil on top of it. And then again, brainstorming about how we use land and how land is managed is very, very important. So I hope that this was a good visual for you to understand how pollutants get in watersheds.